another red claw and a couple of cherubim. That was a nice catch, only about 3 or 4 hours in at most. So get this fella out and into a pot. This one's only a little fella compared to the ones in Wellford, but a nice and quick easy catch compared to Wellford, where it took 3 weeks just to catch the 4. But here I am, first attempt, just near Jundah. So red claw, yeah, not locally indigenous to this area. They're from up the Gulf country, I believe, so they're native to Australia, but not this region. Got some salted water on the boil now in my little pot. So it's not a very good pot for cooking crayfish. It's kind of small, but it wasn't its original purchase intention. It just fits in here, easy enough, just a bit of a curve. Get it up to a rolling boil. It'll be in my mouth within 10 minutes. There we go, nicely cooked up. Didn't take too long at all. I'm certainly no expert on how to cook them, but this is what you got, nice bit of meat. Very sweet, kind of like prawn, but it's not as salty. Yeah. I put the trap back in, so if I'm lucky I'll catch another few more by tonight and just keep cooking them up as I go. I just thought I'd quickly check the trap, just wondering, seeing that it didn't take very long to catch the first one, and already got another one in there. I'm not sure if this is red claw, this might be a blue claw, or it might just be a female red claw. I think males have the big red stripe and the females don't. But it's got the four strip or longitudinal stripes down the head, so I think that's red claw, whereas blue claw has only 2. So I put the water back on the boil, and I'll throw this one in as well. Have at least 2 down. If it keeps going like that, I'll feed, just cook them one at a time. I'm currently in Jundah, which is the nearest town to Wellford National Park. I've been here a few days now, just resting up again and trying to decide which way to head. And the weather again, just like last year, about the same time of year, is starting to get crazy fire weather again, where most national parks, New South Wales is currently all closed down due to the catastrophic fire danger. And Queensland's got total fire ban pretty much everywhere. And the temperatures I'm experiencing now, they're okay, but according to the weather, they're going to go up about 6 to 10 degrees hotter than the average November temperatures, as long as some winds coming through. So it's no longer safe for me really to be out here on my own, and heading further west into Diamantina is probably a no-go. So I'm going to start heading back towards the coast, where I'll find a job hopefully again this year for 5 or 6 months. I don't know what I'll do, but head to the coast, and whether I pick fruit or pack something, or who knows, I might get another park ranger job, anything's possible. So I'll head back into town now and just camp at the little caravan park there, a beautiful caravan park in Jundah. Then tomorrow I start working north and then east towards the coastline, and that probably concludes most of my trip for 2019 then. But it's been a good year. Like I say, it doesn't work out how I planned, but you know, it worked out a good year. I got to see some more places in Outback Queensland that I've been wanting to see a long time. Winya, got to see Sturt. Wellford I only saw just a little bit. I only stayed at the campground. I was more there just to relax rather than explore. So I'll go back to Wellford maybe next year and see what happens. So off to town, and you can join in on the journey wherever I end up. Like I was saying, it's deja vu for me again. About the same time last year, around November, December, I'd worked my way towards the coast as it was starting to get a bit too hot in the outback. And then there was this crazy fire weather all up and down the coastline of the eastern coast, all throughout Queensland. Numerous fires, most of the parks all closed down. I just spent 2 weeks in Byfield, and then just within days of leaving, they'd shut the park down due to the high fire danger. Up and down places like Jundah National Park, something like rainforest which shouldn't be burning, completely burnt out. Just something you wouldn't ever conceive. Like I've attended about 100 fires as a park ranger. 50 of those were planned burns, about another 50 were wildfires, and virtually all of them except 2 were fairly tame, well-behaved fires. They're fairly easy to contain and put out. Up until like the last one I did at the beginning of this year, which was the biggest fire I've ever been in. 2 weeks of firefighting, losing 2/3 of the park, canopy fires, like full-on forest, just black sticks, nothing left, just eerie silence. I never would have thought that would be possible in that place I was at. So we're moving into uncertain times here with some of this fire behaviour. Again, another reason why I shouldn't be out in some of these temperatures alone now. Although when I look around, I look at those places and think, oh, this wouldn't burn and that wouldn't burn, looking at my experience, but I don't know this country, I don't know what the burn histories are like. I look for scars on trees and I don't see any ash or anything, but it could be with the right, those winds I had in Welford and all those lightning strikes going around. If it hadn't been as much rain in there, it could have been quite a few fires and blasting through like fire fronts that we easily overwhelm someone very quickly. Matter of minutes to prepare for it to hit you. So yeah, even with my experience, I'm thinking it's some places are probably not safe for me to be, because New South Wales now, every park in New South Wales is closed down. Total fire ban throughout Queensland. So I'm just hoping it's not another really bad year. But I'll head back towards the coast, do the same thing, try and find a job along the coastline somewhere, head up again aiming towards around Townsville to Cairns region where there's lots of parks. I might be able to get a temp job up there for 5-6 months picking fruit, or working in parks maybe as a ranger again, or wherever I can find, who knows. Just get those travel funds up again and then ready to head back out next year. So again, people are saying it's climate change, and I think it is. We can't endlessly plunder the world's resources with a make-believe belief that it's endless and eternal, with the capitalistic belief that there's always more resources to go. We've cleared so much of the world's forest already for wood and ash, and put millions or hundreds of millions of sheep and cattle in there, so all consuming the meat and then digging up the earth for coal, taking as much water as we can to grow things like cotton in deserts that shouldn't really have cotton. It's just insanity what we're doing. So eventually Mother Earth's going to start fighting back, and as a species we're going to pay for it. It's another reason why I'm not waiting, because I know we're heading into uncertain times, and waiting another 20-30 years could be a dangerous proposition, really. We just don't know. Like, as it is, AIs and robotics are advancing at such an exponential rate. We no idea whether there's going to be any jobs in the future. They're saying middle class could be wiped out and just leaving the poor and the rich. So you might find yourself made redundant within several years because some smart entrepreneur created an AI that can do your office job far superior to you. So it's just time to sit down and think about some of these things that are going on and actually pay attention. But for me, head back to the coast where I can still work. I'm going to work, get the funds up, and start planning next year's trips with the Simpson Desert #1 priority next year, because I missed it on 3 years of trips now. I haven't made it to the Simpson, so I really want to get that done. So it's ticked off the list, so it's no longer a worry that if I forget get there or not, it's done. It'll be exciting. At least now I've got the pop top set up, and I can reconfigure some of the insides and get the rear suspension figured out a bit better, maybe some extra helper springs to give it a bit of extra lift. Yeah, it's doable. Yeah, uncertain times. So don't wait. Get out there, explore, do what you want to do now. You don't know how long you got and how long the world as we know it will be here. It won't be much of a fun place if there's fires and crazy weather and, melting pavements of just heat waves and who knows what else. Yeah. And just in case you're wondering, the current temperature is about 41.8 degrees Celsius. So it's a bit hotter than last week, about 5-6 degrees hotter, which is the about 6 to 10 degrees hotter that they were forecasting the next week or so with this fire behaviour, hotter than the normal average November temperatures. So it'd be stupid to keep heading west because I might find myself in the late 40 degrees Celsius heat. And that's not a good thing to me. A good thing for me to be out there alone in that kind of temperature. But I had fun this year. It's been good. Let's just see where I end up now. I'm at what I think is pronounced Ilfracombe. It's about 27 kilometres east of Longreach, and there's a nice little museum here, outdoor museum, with some pretty epic trucks and cars and old equipment from the farms, all nicely arranged. A bit of a bottle collection, gun collection, as well as a little house sort of setup showing what life was like in some of the early houses. It's worth stopping by if you're on your way through, but I've decided to keep heading east now towards Blackdown Tablelands National Park. That's the closest park to the coast I can stay for a while until I figure out what job I'm going to take, because accommodation on the coastline's pretty expensive, so I don't want to spend too much there until I sort of know which direction I'm heading for a job. That's the plans. I'm at the Tree of Knowledge in Barkey, also known as Barcaldine, and it's pronounced Barcaldine. Barcaldine was what I was thinking of, not Barcaldine. I think it's Barkey for the locals. This is a tree that is said to be where the Australian Labor Party was first formed. So just beneath this tree, the first meetings, which basically later became the Labor Party. A bunch of shearers went on strike for the people, and the tree was poisoned by vandals and then later preserved and put in this big monument, you see. So it's still living. It's well over a few hundred years old, I think, the tree. So it's beautiful how it's all still here, and underneath they actually preserved the roots as well. They took the root base out, so when the lights are on you can look down underneath and see some of the root balls. Can't quite see it now in the daylight. Yeah. Part of Australian history. You got the Tree of Knowledge information here. The Tree of Knowledge was a Eucalyptus papuana ghost gum that stood on this site until its death in 2006. During the 1891 National Shearers' Strike, the tree was silent witness to the monumental struggle between shearers and pastoralists over wages and working conditions. These and subsequent events played an integral part in the formation of the Labour Union movement, the establishment of the Australian Labor Party, and the formation of the Pastoralist Union. So it's a bit of significant history here for Australia. I'm just outside of Emerald at Fairbairn Dam, I think it's called, and there's lots of red claw here, so I'm going to try again with the last bit of bait I've got and see if I can catch anything, and then I'll keep heading towards the campgrounds, which is probably another hour or so drive out of here, just near Blackwater at Blackdown Tablelands. So got the trap, a nice big chunk, the last big chunk I've been keeping for a long while. See if I can find a spot down and spend an hour. Won't spend too long here, but just a bit of fun again. This is like meant to be fully infested with the things. I was here probably the last 2 trips I've been around Australia. I ended up here for some reason, so it's a familiar spot now. But yeah, it's the water's gone down a bit since the last time I was here. It's still working on the dam wall. But if you're near Emerald, this is one of the big spots to go and fish and kayak and motor out on the water with your boat. It's mighty beautiful, very still today. Got one boat going in now, a few little seabirds around, all on the doorstep of Emerald. I think it might be time to go check the traps now. It's been about an hour. I'm gonna head off. They've got special bins here just for the red claw scraps, so they don't put back into the river, seeing they're not technically from this region. They're considered a pest, I guess, in competition with the native species in the region. Just a little fish, that's all. It's a shame, but oh well. Off to the campgrounds now. I'm just driving up the range now, up to the top of Blackdown Tableland. It's a beautiful big tabletop, basically. Large green mountain surrounded by the lower plain lands. Fairly narrow drive up, so take it slow and watch the corners because there's nothing stopping you going off the edge. But already it's quite beautiful. Much cooler up here than down below. It's got its own like microclimate, nice and high up in the mountains, cool winds, beautiful silence. Well, the Land Rover made it up perfectly this time. Last time it struggled a bit, but I'm probably running a bit lighter currently. And I'm at Horseshoe Lookout, which is the first thing you'll come to just after you reach the plateau, basically. The ranger base is just across the road there for emergencies if you do need it. There's a nice toilet block here and some picnic tables, so it's a beautiful spot if you're passing just near Blackwater. Come on up and enjoy this cool weather compared to the heat wave down below. So head down to this incredible view, just stunning vistas. You can see all this blue haze everywhere. You might think it's smoke, but I don't think it is. This is just the natural gassing off of the eucalyptus trees, kind of like the Blue Mountains, where the eucalyptus oils are quite volatile, so the heat that hits them causes them to gas off. Eucalyptus oil rises up and it forms this haze. Just like, the Blue Mountains, which is why the Blue Mountains down Sydney way are called Blue Mountains, because it's just eucalyptus oil evaporating out. It's nice and dense. You see just how beautiful this is. Bit of a raptor up there searching around for prey. Nice big cliffs over this side, worn away. I'm so lucky we still have this and hasn't all been like cleared or mined. I think I said earlier that this is the third trip around Australia that I ended up right here. It seems to be the place where I end up when things don't quite go to plan and it gets too hot in the outback. The roads just seem to lead here, and it's just a beautiful spot to start to wind down and get ready to start looking for another job. So I'm hoping there'll be a lot of frogs here again. On the films I did last year, Blackdown Tableland frogs and toads. Stunning, just absolutely stunning night of filming frogs. I'm at the campgrounds, beautiful and quiet. I booked the exact same spot I was in last year. It's a pretty good spot. Number 16, it's big enough for me. Unfortunately, it's fairly covered here, so my solar panel's not going to get a great deal of charge. Probably enough to keep the fridge running for the week. But I won't be able to use my laptop as much as I wanted to. I was hoping to start editing Sturt National Park. I've still got probably two parts to edit for that. But I'll probably head back out to the Horseshoe Lookout each day anyway, so I can got the internet access there. The rest of the park, or most of the park, is basically no phone signal. I'm just going to head down now to the Mook Mook Trail and see if there's any water in this creek. That's where all the frogs were. That's a shame, it's nearly all dry. This is the spot that had the most frogs, just epic. I haven't seen so many frogs before in one spot, different species. But I did see some tadpoles in some of these pools, so they might still be out here. I'll come back tonight anyway with a spotlight and see if I won't be as cool as last time. Looks like they've still got feral cattle in the park. There's a bit of some cattle hooves here. Let's take a quick look down here as well. There was another pool on further. I checked last time. Nope, nothing. Oh well. Still beautiful though. Probably hear something tonight at least. Lots of kookaburras around, currawongs. So a few power-headed rosettas are just there drinking. Still a beautiful spot. There's about several campsites booked out for tonight, so I won't be completely alone anymore. So that's the end of the beauty and isolation. I think last time there were people playing radios loudly and yahooing and so forth, kids screaming. But that's life. Look at these absolutely stunning boreholes here made by rocks, which get swirled around and around when the big flows come through. Just bores down through the rock, forms these beautiful, almost all circular holes. This one here is a pretty good one. Fairly deep, good leg or so in there. A few more up there as well. Pretty common around waterfall areas. But I get when the drought's over, this will probably be a beautiful flow through. Some more little crevices here. So there are definitely some tadpoles getting around in here, so it's not completely all lost. I'm just looking at this big water hole here with the big torch, and there's loads of different water skaters and whirligig beetles, and this beautiful big spider. I'm not sure what it is, maybe some sort of water spider, probably waiting to hunt some of these water striders. Oh, I found one. Spoke too soon. Very beautiful, very pointed nose. I actually didn't bring my frog book on this trip. I bought one of the latest frog books which shows all the frogs of Australia, but I took it out trying to reduce weight and didn't think I'd actually find any frogs on this trip. But yet again, I'm amazed at how these things get around and survive. Nothing in the big water hole left either, just some whirligig beetles, no frogs around the edge. And you got that one last section, and then that's it.
I've got a feral pig just up ahead, right in the middle of the beam. You probably can't see it. It's a reasonable sized pig.
It's just searching around inside the remains of the water hole there for any, I guess, grubs and roots or anything delicious to eat. It's a shame if I was around here. He'd get stuck into any delicious frogs that are left around. Can't eat the toads, so maybe that's where some of the frogs are gone, in the belly of a pig. Ah well. Just started to have a mild thunderstorm come across. Bit of lightning in the sky, but nothing too dramatic. The rain's just starting to hit now. It helps cool it down a bit more. It's been fairly cool most of the day. A bit warm when I was out near the lookout. Yeah. That's really nice to have. Sweep through. Hopefully help dampen down some of the hi-fi danger. I've got a bunch of Kindle books on my phone, so I have 102 books here I can read anytime, which is great. It's an easy way of getting new books on the road and not carrying any weight. It's all just stored on my phone. It's just incredible to think how we have this technology available. It's just so easy to highlight passages as well still if I need to make marks or make notes. I still prefer an actual book, but this is an easy way to travel and still breed widely without having to carry all the extra weight and bulk around. I picked a fairly shady campsite, and like I said, there's a bit of an issue with the solar power, but even with all that shade on there at the moment, it's still putting in around 2 to 4 amps each hour. So it's better than nothing. It helps keep the fridge running each hour, which the fridge only uses about 2.5 amps max. So I'm still, getting ahead for keeping the fridge running, which is nice. Everything's working pretty good. Most I've seen thus far for these panels is 14 amps in the sun, but theoretically they should get up to 16 amps. So I might have to wait till I get a nice big bright sunny day and point those panels in the sun and see how that goes, if I can get the full 16. The last panels did, so I'm pretty certain these should too. Just a matter of getting that lithium down enough so that you can dump as much current back into it as is available. G'day, I hope you've enjoyed this film. If you'd like to assist in the creation of more videos without being committed to a monthly Patreon subscription or spending any additional money, click on this link, How You Can Help, for several ways you can contribute to my productions. Thanks.